What's changed the most physically with me right now at this point? It's my hair. I've got a lot of more hair than I did, when this started. Thinking about a haircut soon, we'll have to see. I haven't made up my mind yet, but for right now, because it's such a wild beast up there, I'm gonna stick with the hat. Got my pictures done, so we'll be able to compare those here in a few weeks. It's not really gonna matter too much right now because there hasn't been a whole lot of physical change. 193 pounds, no weight loss. Waist, 37.5, so a small change. It doesn't really matter that it's the first week of January right now. It's just one advantage I have among many. So as we go through each week, this kind of makes the journey kind of exciting. It makes it kind of fun as you just get something new every week, a new tool, something that you can use, let's say, to keep you on a good path, on progress, to getting towards your goals. We've already looked at the kind of the kids' schedule, so I've kind of penciled in where I can get my walks in, where I can get my activity in, and that's kind of really the goal this week. Schedule everything in and kind of do the best I can. And so if I miss something, it's not the end of the world. It's something that, I can either adjust the food a little bit or find another time, maybe in the weekend, to make something up. So it's Monday morning, and now that I got waist scales and pictures done, I really got to get to work here in a minute. Ooh, it's kind of cold. I'll tell you what. So here's all the meals we have made from yesterday. We got everything kind of crammed in here, a lot of meal prep, and this is in order to keep me successful. So there's a lot of different things in here. I pretty much have a video I made yesterday of all, cooking this out. It took about an hour and a half. And so, you just want to make sure that when you're cooking, make sure you have space for all this stuff. So let's see, I think we have breakfast. So even if we push these back, there's still more behind there, So yeah, that's pretty much meal prep. Nutrient density is really high this week. This is one of those catches that I've learned over time is that, hey, instead of dropping the calories this week and then maybe getting injured or being extra sore, just keep the calories where they're at and then change the nutrient density. More vegetables, more fruits, a lot more nutrient dense fats, a lot more protein. So that's gonna be my goal this week, and we'll go through the FitnessPal log, just to see where I end this week, how I feel, and make sure that, it's going in the right direction. And because if I start dropping calories, I might start losing the mental side of this game. I might start losing the spiritual side of this game because I might be getting frustrated or overly hungry and just fixating on food or, just not keeping focus. And that's kind of important. I know that once you start dropping calories really hard, it's hard to recover. And that's one thing that I don't like is when you go into these hard deficits, which I'll be doing in the Xform. But for right now and for Xform and just lifestyle change, a lot of people think it makes the most sense to drop calories. And for me, I just want to keep them up just one more week. And I don't like to make calorie changes until it's been 2 weeks. Now that my nutrient density is coming up, I might see a change this week. And if anything, if I don't see another change, say on the scale or my physique or waist, I can change that. Just getting my week started. I got all my meals packed, ready to go. So I'm not gonna struggle when it comes to my nutrition or trying to, have to plan it on the fly. I'm already set. So that's what's most important for me anyway, in terms of getting the best mental start. So I already know I'm going in the right direction. And so here we are, it's Monday morning and it's early, going to work. When it comes to the psychology of Monday, one thing I love is Monday morning is that fresh start. It's an opportunity to start this week different. And if I did last week, let's say it was on the path I wanted to be on, I just can duplicate it or do a little bit better. And if it's something that maybe I struggled last week, then I can forget about it and today's the new start. So that's really kind of the point of the week. And one thing I love about, tracking progress or journaling week to week, because we can make, say, various changes within those 7 days and just learn about ourselves, learn about our habits and what works best for us. So something that's kind of difficult about wintertime, I think, is that, the days aren't as long, so it gets darker earlier and it's dark later into the morning. So I don't really like to do my walks in the dark. So it's one of those things I kind of have to, make a sacrifice, or I'll just have to go out and take a flashlight. Now, one thing I'll say that's really difficult about the winter time is motivation, just because when it's cold or when it's dark, it's hard to go get that activity in, right? It just seems like it's a little more depressing. It's not easy to get through January. That's kind of the hardest part, is making those first month of habits and changes and doing things differently. So that's a big accomplishment, and that's something you should think about in terms of pressing forward. What worked best, what maybe didn't work so well, and start to maybe change things that aren't working or that you don't like or that are discouraging. Because to me, like at this point, yes, I haven't lost a whole lot of weight. No, my physique hasn't changed that much, but mentally and spiritually, I'm in a place where I'm ready to roll. And now I'm ready to really get towards those, say, aggressive physique goals. And I'm still gonna do it slower because I have a lot of time in this. But for you, if you have, say, a year to do it, you don't have to be in a rush. And that's kind of my point with this, is just showing you that even if I lose 3-4 pounds a month, that's gonna add up, 3-4 pounds a month, and you do that over a year, I can't even lose that much. I'd be so skinny and dried up. It's not possible for me, but I haven't really suffered at this point. I've really been getting a lot of the things I like. I've been getting my habits in places that I'm comfortable with. Let's say I don't have a whole lot of negativity going on in my life, and if trials come along, that's okay. And I've learned to be positive in those and use them to my advantage and think that, how is it benefiting me when I struggle a little bit? Well, it means I need to change something. It means I need to think about things a little bit different. Maybe change my perspective, change my attitude, change my emotional state. You can do all of those things. Let's say right now, I think I have the spiritual and emotional state to really survive a lot of suffering when it comes to getting really lean. That's kind of my goal at the end of this. But overall, I'm really happy with my life quality and my life balance at this point. I don't think I've ever been 190 pounds and been, say, this content or this happy or this confident in myself. And it's something, my esteem's really good right now. And it's not something that other people's give me. It's something I had to kind of it comes from within. And I said I was gonna do that, try and stay in the 190s, keep this heavier weight in order to, say, keep my body composition the way I want it, which is the most muscle and the least amount of fat. That's my goal. And that's really the physique that most people, I think, are chasing, but they don't know how to do it. And it's through building all these habits that I'm trying to better myself and be this best version of myself in this whole, say, lifestyle exchange, or this lifestyle upgrade is what I'm calling it. Because it's not that my lifestyle was bad before, I just knew there was areas I could do a little bit better. I had a little more potential. So that's kind of really the whole point of Xform, is to try and get to that potential, to get to that new height. And I kind of talked about that in Endless, which was, hey, reaching, that top pinnacle point, right? Climbing that mountain. And that's what this journey really is gonna hopefully get me to by the end, is I've climbed that mountain and I've looked back and thinking, wow, I accomplished a lot. And not just for myself, but to show others that, hey, there's things that are possible. There's things you can do that you just have to believe, and you have to push forward, but you have to commit. You have to be dedicated. There's a lot of, say, traits that you're gonna need that's gonna help you, say, self-discipline, self-control, perseverance. At this point, all the different advantages I bring in are gonna be just things you can bring in at any time. January is just one of those ones where everybody's kind of motivated, and that was really the whole point of it being an advantage. You have a lot of support around you, and that's going to tie into our advantage of next week, and I'll talk more about that when we've concluded this week, in terms of how I'm going to use community and, let's say, competition to really drive me towards my physique goals. So here, as we come right to that midway point, how's your progress going so far? Are you making any changes? What changes are they? What has changed, say, mentally, spiritually, physically? Because if you're just focused on the physical, like I've done in the past, it's one of those things that, you're gonna have to look beyond, especially, say, to carry these results in lifestyle change or overall lifestyle, say, difference. And so that's really the difference with this journey versus other fitness journeys, is trying to get those changes instilled before doing the physical, like I've said before. So how are your changes going? Is that what you're focused on? Just your physique? Is your physique what defines you? To me, it's not, and I figured that out, and it's taken 9 years to undo. So rather than go for this shredded physique for this series, it's really more about changing my mindset, changing how I see the world, changing my perspective and what is healthy, having balance, relationships, prioritizing others, and not just making things about myself. And there's times when, I have to put this world to the side, and there's times when I have to prioritize it. Figuring out that balance is going to be different for everybody. And that's exactly why I've said that there's no one path. There's no one way. There's no one specific set of behaviors, of habits and patterns that are the fix. There is no perfect system. Now that we're kind of coming up on the midway point, I hope you're starting to see that, and that I haven't prioritized my physique. Not yet anyway, just because I will for another reason, and it's in the Xform series, because a lot of people like to see physical transformation. The problem is if you only do a physical transformation, can you get to that goal? If you hit it, can you stay there? And what, say, behaviors, shaping did you get in that process? Is it healthy for yourself? Is it healthy for those around you and your family and your friends? Those are the things that I know now, and I know better. So in this journey, I'm not making it about myself. It's one of the reasons I started doing content, is to help others see all this stuff and figure out what nutrition means, what it's like to incorporate exercise, activity. There is nothing that is, say, worthless. It just depends on what your interests are. What are your hobbies? What do you like to do? Everybody likes different things, and I obviously like different things. So that's why I don't tell you what I do so much, because you may not like it. You could try it and see what I'm doing, but I'm not gonna push a specific program. I don't believe in that, because what works for me is gonna, especially with nutrition, it's probably not gonna work for 99% of people. You know, you really wanna self-assess. How are you doing? What's your behavior like? What changes are you seeing? Not necessarily in the mirror, but how about in your perspective? How about in the way you're seeing the world? How about in the way you're, using your time? Those are really important things. And time is something that you just can't get back. So I always prioritize time over money, just because you can always make more money and you can always have more things. But time, once the day's gone, it's gone forever. That day ain't coming back. So it's kind of one of the motivators I use, and that's my tip for today. Use your time wisely. See how every single minute you use of the day can be used to your benefit. Don't see so much about how to waste time, but how to utilize that time. And that's what I've been doing for sure this week, is getting my training in, getting more nutrition in, using my advantages, making sure that I'm on a path that mentally, spiritually, and physically, I can be my best here in a few months, because that's my goal, and to finish out this whole thing. So I hope you're getting some value from this. I hope you're making some changes. For the very few of you that are following along, thank you, I appreciate it. It's really my kind of passion, is to change the way we think, change the way we see the world, and change our lifestyle, because it's so hard in a world that has all these deceptions in it. And so that's one of my kind of things for this week, especially as I got in health and fitness, is the world, there's a lot of deception and a lot of things you don't see behind the scenes. So one of the things about health and fitness that it took me a long time to understand is that the world of health and fitness is kind of convoluted. There's a lot of, say, hypocrisy in it. There's a lot of, say, lies beneath and deception. Because one of these things, when you start getting into it, and you're gonna find out, if you haven't already, is that sometimes when you take on habits that are supposed to be healthy, or eating these foods that are supposed to be healthy, or really getting obsessed with this world and chasing that, really culture bred physique that indicates health, what you're gonna find is you create unhealthy balance, unhealthy habits, unhealthy behaviors. And for me specifically, those started 9 years ago when I got into health and fitness. And that was in the world of muscle dysmorphia, body dysmorphia, eating disorders, very unhealthy, say, attitudes and things that prioritize myself. I'm kind of here to show you some of the things that go on with what I see and what I've learned over time. So
for those of us that are new, tracking is overwhelming. When it comes to tracking, make sure you have a food scale. If you do not have a food scale, get a food scale. If you are not accurately assessing your food, you are guessing. And guessing is not going to get you to where you want to be, I guarantee it. The second thing you need is some place to track it. So we have been encouraging MyFitnessPal. A bunch of us are messing around with a new one called Avatar. It is also a food tracking app. So either one, doesn't really matter to me. Just make sure that you're accounting for it, because if we're not assessing, we're guessing. But if you're not tracking, because I don't believe it's actually a great life to live when you're tracking every day, that's not really high quality living in my opinion. So when we're not tracking, prioritize protein and fiber every time you eat. Protein is gonna stop you up. So if you'd like to poop, you're gonna need to eat some good quality carbs with fiber in them. People love to demonize carbs. They love to say, oh, I just need to cut all carbs. Carbs are making me fat. Carbs don't make a person fat. Too many calories make a person fat. Being sure that you're choosing nutrient-dense carbohydrates is going to be the key. Not only is it going to provide you with your micronutrients, which are just going to make you feel better, whole grains, fruits, vegetables, high quality carbs, like nutrient dense carbs, you can eat a lot of them. So volume wise, you get to feel like you're eating a lot, but it's doing a lot for you from a vitamins and minerals standpoint also. Fats are essential for hormone health and absorbing fat soluble vitamins. So we need fats. Fat doesn't make you fat. Too many calories make you fat. So that's why all of these macros are important. Omega-3, omega-6 fatty acids are what we're looking for here. So avocados, olive oils, nuts, seeds, fatty fish. Calories are king in all of this because like I mentioned, you don't get fat from eating fats and you don't get fat from eating carbs. We get fat from eating too many calories. So if calories are king and protein is queen, we hit those two numbers, carbs and fats will fall wherever they will fall. As long as you stay under your calorie umbrella, you've created a calorie deficit. A part of eating in a deficit is you're probably gonna feel a little hungry, and that's how it goes. It just comes with the territory. Getting mad about it isn't gonna change it. So just try to have a positive attitude about all of it. Know that you've got strength in numbers here. Lots of us are doing this and feeling the same way. We can do it. We can do it together. So, I can share what works for me, and it might resonate and work for you, but you might find something that works better for you and share it, because that might be exactly what's going to click with somebody else. And we're all trying to help each other out here. So don't be afraid to share stuff, ideas, recipes, what you do that makes all of this sustainable and doable for you, because someone can benefit from what's benefited you.